Good afternoon on what is a bright and sunny day. It is Friday the 18th of March. I am in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a big box to continue delving into. So let's get started because there's quite a lot in here. Let's go back over there. And I have already pulled out die sets for John Carter of Mars, which I've got to go with the stack of supplements for the game, which I picked up a few weeks ago, and of course these card sets. So this, as you'll probably work out, is a big box of stuff from Modiphius Entertainment. And the next pack, there's a couple of things in here that I have been looking at. Close that up, it's a bit easier. So, what have I got in here? Let's have a look at this. This is the Dark Eden sourcebook for Mutant Chronicles, the Swedish role-playing game, which originally was published in the early 90s, then an English edition in the later 90s, and Modiphius republished as a third edition using its 2D20 system, and this was the first 2D20 system role-playing game. Sins of the past. The mega corporations created their own version of hell for the remnants of humanity left behind during the Exodus. Clouds of toxins sieged through the atmosphere. Nuclear fires seared the earth. The very ground shook in torment and anger. Earth was abandoned by the very best and brightest of the mega corporations during the race across the solar system. Humanity's cradle has been abandoned and forgotten by all but a few. For old Earth was gone, or so the mega corporations believed. Below the toxic clouds and amongst the ruins of civilization, life somehow prevailed in the face of mutagens, toxins and terraforming agents that surged across the planet's surface, changed, mutated, born of a fiery genesis. Old Earth has become Dark Eden. This sourcebook covers Dark Eden, the world once known as Earth. Designed to be used on its own, is also it is also perfectly supplement the Dark Eden campaign. So it's got a mega body campaign, a global spanning search for a secret that threatens the very existence of Lunar City, the survivors, the tribes of Dark Eden, a detailed background of the twisted descendants of humanity, the Crescentians, the Lutherian triad, Sons of Rasputin, Templars and others. New world, new dangers, details of Dark Eden's lethal flora and fauna, from the colossal Eclipsian war mammoths to the deadly silver pools. A challenge world, comprehensive information on the various locations in the world of Dark Eden, plus story hooks for adventures. So this takes Mutant Chronicles in a bit of a different direction. So back to Earth, but not Earth as she was once. Because essentially we've seen a little bit of Earth, or essentially what the northern climes of Earth are like, with the White Star mega corporation sourcebook for Mutant Chronicles, but this goes in a bit different direction and looks at the rest of the world. So here we go. We're opening up with sort of the dark nature of the world and how it was fought over, and how what we've got left was basically Red Death, Black Rot and a Changed World. And of course there's links here into White Star and how that corporation is under siege on the planet. We've got coverage of China, the Mutant Kingdom in this future, and the various things like the mega body and the tribes and so on, and stellar ancestors and what the connections are to the Brotherhood and the cartel and the corporations, all discussed within the opening section of the book. And essentially how they're involved in the exploration of the basically the Dark Eden that once was Earth. And then of course we've got the Dark Symmetry, of course, which is a basically dark influence, I said literally dark influence, upon the world, and that obviously plays a big role on Earth. And we've got a discussion of how to get there. Obviously, you might get a hitch with a white star, basically a space vessel or some other means. This is accompanied by a timeline from 2105 AD all the way through to let's have a look. Basically 2420 and then 1300 years later. So we are talking sort of like 27 or 37, 37th, 38th century. That sort of thing. Discussion of zones of corruption. And what you might find out there. Quite what's going on there, and then we get out into discussing the Earth or Dark Eden region by region, starting off with Europe, and of course we've got the Sons of Rasputin, White Star, and that history, which obviously certainly parallels the wars between the White and Red Russians during the Civil War. That's on first glance, of course. I have to read a deeper read. Also the Templars as well. It's always coming by this really great artwork, really dark and gloomy and grim. If you're looking for something like that. What else we got? The Templars are essentially connected to Templar history, as you can tell by this skull. I won't tell you whose skull that is, but if you know your Templar history. What else we got in here? So there's quite a lot of information in here. This is including just a mention of Stonehenge, rebuilt by thousands of Lutheran faithful. No idea what they put that to. They put that to obviously basically point of worship. And then we've got the Americas. And because interesting, all of this is sort of almost the culmination, I think, of the Mutant Chronicles line, in a sense, because it takes it back to Earth, where so much of the campaign is kind of focused away from Earth. So here we are in sort of South American expeditions, as you can tell by the statue over presumably the ruins of Rio de Janeiro. And then essentially we have the Falklands Islands as a staging post for plundering the ruins of South America. And then we've got more detail upon North America and so on. Not a lot to see in here. Dealing with the situation in the various states, but again, it's fairly text heavy. This is, unlike a lot of the source material for Mutant Chronicles, there's a lot of information. It's not. There's more text here than you might be used to. So we also have a section on Africa. As well. So the discussion of what's the Congo and rainforest, the Great Lakes, Tanganyika, that area, Ethiopia, and West Africa. There's a lot of information in here, but it's again, so not not a huge amount to necessarily show you. You have an image of a monster one of the monsters that dwells in the Sahara, so very sandworm-like. I doubt they're collecting the spice it leaves, but and they're certainly running away. And then we'll get into Asia. Also covering the oil barons, the situation with the oil barons of Arabia. To India and Himalayas and so on, and the chemical dangers of the East Asian exclusion area, and so on. So there's a huge amount of information in here, and little things that included, for example, like the Jade River Grand Casino, complete with maps, the location they will probably visit as part of the Dark Eden campaign. And then we onto Oceania, so Australia and the Oz Trails. You see how you've got how Australia itself has been radically changed by the events that brought about Dark Eden. So that, I'm guessing, is the flooding of the Murray River Basin from gosh, that would be my basic geography, basically Australian geography lessons back in junior school. I knew they'd come in useful one day. A distillery, so whether that's basically it's almost sort of like a very much a Mad Max style setting, as you would expect. Basically post-apocalyptic Australia, perfect. Get the vehicles out, get them revving, get them fueled up, and that's essentially confirmed by the artwork. And last, got last section of we've got the extensive section of adversaries and allies. Again, or you can use this sort of like an ongoing campaign, or when you're actually running the Dark Eden campaign. Monsters like the Scrapper, and so on. So this is organised again by geographical area. Not error. And they're sort of regional. So you do have things like the Dream Ants in Australia, the Ghost Spider, which have sort of like a nod towards the indigenous concepts of Dreamlands, which are really better. I think they're also covered in things like the Australia supplements for Call of Cthulhu. I've got a presence of the Dark Legion on Dark Eden. Who knew? And so yeah, lots of monsters, lots of enemy. The player characters can encounter allies to make and the like. So just about everything you're going to need to support the Dark Eden campaign. Gear is looking mostly at sort of like tribal technology, so it's not the high-tech technology the player characters may be used to, but that doesn't mean it's not interesting. We do have some weapons in here, and they're all a little bit rougher than again the player characters may be used to, but doesn't mean they don't work. And then we've got some vehicles as well. So that's what is it's a Scyther Beast. It's like almost like a basically big beast being ridden there, and then an extensive index. So that is the Dark Eden sourcebook for the Dark Eden campaign for Mutant Chronicles from Medievius Entertainment. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below, and of course if you got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box and a book or game, which I will chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another unboxing and look. Bye for now.